Hello and welcome back to Culinary Haven. Today we're making Stromboli, which is an Italian-American dish invented in, I believe, 1950 in Philadelphia, and is essentially a rolled up pie made with a pizza dough. It's not difficult to make and it's absolutely delicious. Let's begin. And we'll start, of course, with preparing the dough. We'll need 600 grams of bread flour, 2 teaspoons of yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and a tablespoon of sugar. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. Sift it all together into a bowl. If you want, you can do it in a food processor or a stand mixer, but it's very easy to do just by hand. And the wet ingredients are 400 ml of water and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. That's it. Mix it together. As usual, when we make yeast dough, we start making it in a bowl, and once it comes together, we will transfer it onto the worktop and finish the kneading there. At this moment, the goal is to not to have any dry flour. I'll do. And now continue kneading here. It only takes a few minutes to go from a shaggy, rough looking dough into a smooth, elastic and pliable dough. But you can see already how the dough is transforming. So at this point, you can either, if you're feeling energetic, you can continue kneading the dough. It's getting harder to stretch it, which means that we're first of all almost there, and second, that the dough wants to rest a little bit. And we'll have a break for 5 minutes and let it rest. Put it there, cover with your bowl and leave it for 5 minutes. So 5 minutes, let's see. The difference is incredible. It's soft and pliable again, and if we try and stretch it, it goes anywhere we want to. It just stretches. So as you can see, the dough is now the consistency and the looks we want it to be. So now we're just going to shape it into a ball, put it back into the bowl and let it rise for about an hour and a half. It depends. Like I said many times before, depends on the potency and freshness of your yeast and on the temperature of your kitchen. The bottom line is let it be. Give it as much time as it needs. It might be an hour or might be an hour and a half. You will see. As soon as you see that the dough has puffed up and doubled in size, it's ready. Cover it tight with cling film or a lid if you have a suitable container, and come back to it when it's ready. So whilst the dough is rising, we're going to prepare the fillings. When it comes to Stromboli, there is not one single traditional filling. It could be many different varieties of meats, salamis, pepperoni, cooked sausage, mushrooms, onions, peppers, cheeses, and so on. We like all of them. So today we're going to make a cooked sausage and pepperoni and peppers and some fried mushrooms with onions. So let's get on with that. We'll slice the mushrooms. I'm using baby portobello mushrooms, even though they don't look like babies to me, but according to the package, they are babies. We're not going to need that much mushrooms, but since I'm cooking them, I like to make plenty so that I can then have them in the fridge ready to be included in other dishes, wraps, and sandwiches and anything else. Cooked mushrooms with onions stay in the fridge for a few days, no problem. So we'll use a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. Add the mushrooms and let them cook for a couple of minutes on medium whilst we're chopping the onions. So you can use 1 or 2 onions. We like plenty of onions, especially when they're fried, they cook down, and it's a whole package of mushrooms, so 2 medium onions. Just let's give it a little stir and add the onions. Looks like a lot at the moment, but it won't be once the onions cook down. Mix it together, give it a good stir, and leave it cooking on medium for about 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes. Both the onions and the mushrooms cook down, as you can see, and now we will give them another 5 minutes to brown, and we'll season this in the end. It's now ready. Look, we had a whole pan full of mushrooms and onions, and now we have just this little pile, but everything is nicely cooked, browned. We're just going to season it with salt and black pepper. Stir it and switch it off. Now we're going to transfer it into a bowl to be one of our fillings. And now second and last filling that we need to cook, Italian sausage. You don't have to do it. It's not mandatory. We like it, but you don't have to do it. Cook it until it's fully cooked and browned. I would say 10 minutes. Nice. I didn't put any oil. There is plenty of fat in the sausage. That's it. Nicely cooked. All browned. Smells absolutely amazing. Done. And now we're going to transfer the cooked sausage in one of the filling bowls. At this point, everything is ready, and we're just waiting on the dough to be ready. Right, let's see. The dough is ready. Lovely. All puffed up and ready. So now we're going to divide it in half. This amount of dough is enough to make 2 large stromboli. Each piece of dough is about 500 grams and a bit. So we'll put this aside. I'm not going to make one today. You can wrap it and put it in the fridge and use it in the next a day or 2, or you can freeze it and it can stay there for 2 months or as long as you want. So sprinkle some flour and let's roll. Look at this, so bubbly. We're going to roll it into a large thin rectangle. Make sure your rolling pin is also floured so nothing sticks to anything. You can help yourself by gently stretching the dough in the desired direction, but in any case, take your time. There is no rush, and it will get the shape and the size you want. If you see that the dough starts springing back, what you need to do is to leave it for a minute or 2, just as it is, to relax, and then continue on rolling. And you will roll it for as thin and as wide, as long as you need. Just give it time. I'm going to leave it for just 2 minutes. So you come back to it 2 minutes later and you see that it's willing to roll, and it feels so much easier. See? Wide and long. So the goal is to roll the dough out as thinly as you can, because the pie consists of a lot of layers and you don't want a thick layer of dough inside. There will be thin, delicious layers of dough mixed with all the fillings. So if you need, you can stretch it a little bit gently with your hands. Doesn't have to be perfectly rectangular. It will be fine. Not a geometry class. That will do. We'll start with our layers. So let's layer out. First of all goes the cheese, grated mozzarella. Layer of that, going almost to the edges and to the very edge of one of the sides. Next layer is our cooked sausage. The next, we're adding the mushrooms, fried with onions. On top of that go the peppers. I like to mix them. I'm using seedless sweet red and orange pepper and a green bell pepper. On top of that goes a layer of provolone, and on top of that some pepperoni. That's our favorite way of making stromboli, in this particular order with this particular ingredients, but I'll leave it up to you how you make your favorite. And lastly, on top, some more grated mozzarella. It is very cheesy. Now we're going to roll it up, starting from here into a log. Okay. Like so, like so, like so. I'm going to pinch the edges. If you wish, you can trim the side edges to have less dough, but I don't do that. I like crispy edges. I'm going to place it on the parchment lined baking tray. Press it down. So make sure that everything is sealed so it's not oozing out before it should. And now we're going to, before we put it in the oven, we're going to score it on top to help let the steam out and cook through evenly. With a sharp knife or a baker's blade, something like that. And now we're going to bake it in the preheated to 200 degrees Celsius oven for 30 minutes until it's deep golden brown. So it's just out of the oven, still sizzling, and I'm quickly going, before it's got cold, we're going to take a tablespoon of butter and a clove of garlic and a teaspoon of dried parsley. Mix it all together and brush it all over the pie. This will, of course, infuse it with garlic and parsley and also make the crust sort of crispy and soft at the same time, if it makes any sense, but that's how it is. Just 1 tablespoon of butter is enough for the whole thing. Let it rest for about 10 minutes before you slice. So stromboli is traditionally served with marinara sauce on the side, and that's what we're going to do. Let's cut it through and see what it looks like inside, and it looks amazing. So you just slice it and serve it. Thank you for watching this episode of Culinary Haven. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, bye!